the content, the button, the summarize text, that response, then get the value, and that summary. And then so from this summary, I will I'll just save it. But I'll just probably not the company, not this one. Okay. Or you can just content generation as well, but you get the point, right? You can be able to use these connectors and reference the value from your controls by doing such as this, referencing that control and the value. And then you can get the response out of that connector by just referencing the same within your routes, right? So this is the first one. So this is one way you can reference from a rule the connectors that you've used in your app. So how about if I want to reference the output of a connector into a table which contains, as you know, a list of values or a table, right? A data table. In this case, I'm using this the connectors that I've shown, and instead of create rule, right? I want to update the data source. In that case, I would open Query Builder, like so. And then I can select source. And as you can see, the sources that are available are the ones that I have created connections for, right? And the connectors that has activities that outputs a list, right? It's not all the activities that are in these connections, but only those that um, that it outputs a list. So as you can see, if I select UiPath GenAI, all of the activities here doesn't output a list. But if you go, I select Salesforce, there are activities here that outputs a list. And I want to list out the leads. And if I want to, if there are parameters in order for me to build a query, then I can use this one as well. But I'll just go ahead and save it, and it will automatically create the save. Let's refresh. So let me just look up some questions while it's loading.
Yeah, so Russell, one of the questions is, how do you get the first name, last name, company name?
Yeah, absolutely. So so to make this same thing, you can just duplicate the so this one or hold on. I can do again content generation. Sure.
And it says, okay, yes, you can adjust the prompt and get one response, but don't you need to parse the response to get different parts of the answer?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's your choice if you want to create separate content generation to extract, right? and output as a JSON, you can say output as a JSON, um, example company name, last name, first name. Yep, I could have shown it like this. Using the extracted fields as keys, something like that. And then if you do this, then you can also, you don't need this, right? You won't need this this one. I can always delete the first one. And from here, what I can do is, like, instead of just this, I can ask probably this one. Parse the like first name from the following text object. And then, so this is also another way you can use autopilot, right? So if you know the uh, so it automatically creates creates the expression for you, but I don't think this will work for me. So I could, since this is a JSON, so the output text is a JSON containing first name as key, as a key. So yeah, it this might not be the actual thing I'm expecting, but if I know the structure of the JSON format, I can be able to parse it. You can do this, or you can create separate prompt for each content that you want to extract. Right? So if you would like to extract the lead name, if you would like to extract the first name, last name. I just show the first one, and and I think that shows how to do the other ones. So I didn't create the other ones, but you get the idea how to create the other ones as well. It depends on the prompt that you provide, the content generation activity, and you provide the context or the body you want to extract it from. Right. So that's that. Any questions aside from that?
I think that was all the current questions, but if anybody wants to unmute and ask anything, please do.
So once you have the data source for the table, let me just show what we already have here, for example. So let's say so this one, right? So this is the data source and how you can get the columns, right? I want the name, I want the title, I want the company, lead status or lead source. It's just easy as like updating the source field, right? And this will accept the field name, only the field name. But how would you be able to know what's the field name of the object from the object that is in the data source? So same thing that I did before, right? Like maybe from here, get table. Salesforce. So the page is Salesforce. I mean the Salesforce page, right? So this is another project that already prepared, similar use case, right? And then I have the table, and then there's a that selected item. So for tables, this is how you can reference the um, fields, right? So of course the selected item, and then what's the field name that you want to add. I want to add the city, for example, right? So the only thing I'm interested in for the column is this field name. So whatever is before, starting from the selected item, I can just remove and then use this one as a the object name for that column. For some of the object structure, it can be they can have selected item that fields that whatever data or that city, right? So that means the one that I need to add in this source would be this fields at data.city. But in my case, I'm good enough with this city. Okay.
Yeah, and there's a
And then
couple
I'll
more
just
comments, Russell.
uh-huh.
Um, I think the solution showed was to process a text string, not a JSON object. Where can we find the documentation?
So just to clarify on that. So what we're interacting with here is the large language model to generate content. And depending on your prompt, right? My prompt, even if it's output as a text, I ask the large language model to output as a JSON, right? So that's why so imagine I'm this will be the output I'm expecting from here is something like first name, last name, and then company, right? So this is what you call like prompt output parsing or prompt engineering to do output parsing, right? So it may not be consistent, but this is what I'm expecting this content generation would do, right? And it really depends on my prompt. And then this will be a JSON string that I will then have to parse the on the create leads so I can extract the first name, last name, or company, right? So it really but then it really depends on the prompt that you're using, right? To make it simpler, you can just output as one for one, right? I want to extract the company name and then without outputting as a JSON. So that's another option so that you can just reference each content generation output as one data point, right? To make things much simpler, right? So it's outside of what really this what this uh, connectors does. It's more on prompt engineering, if I may. But so that's what I hope that answered your question.
Okay, and then there's multiple prompts may increase the cost with ChatGPT. Is there a license required for us to establish integration service from Studio App, Studio Web?
Yes, that's what I will show you in a bit later once I have completed this part. So I will show you how you can also build workflows, more complex workflows in Studio Web, and how you can unify it.
And just
I see a question. Yeah, I see a
one more
question.
comment. But when you use the split method, you will be getting the result in an array that is different from a JSON object, storing
Yeah,
multiple pairs of key value.
yeah. I think although I showed that earlier, I think that that's really not the focus of that. What I wanna show in this session. So I use the like autopilot to help me with generating an expression to parse the output content, but it didn't give me the correct although it didn't give me the correct expression. It used split instead of like deserializing the object, and then going converting from string to JSON, and then going to the attribute. So that's why I didn't use the split. But as a you can be able what I just showed there is how you can use autopilot to help you create the expression, although sometimes it may not be give the correct expression. In this case, the easiest route is to just not use JSON for now, and just for the purpose of this demo, make it simpler. We can separate out the different content generation output.
Okay. And then why don't you go
So
ahead with your demo, and
yes,
then
sure,
and then there's a couple more comments after
sure,
that.
sure,
Yeah.
absolutely. Thanks, Yana, and yeah,
Yep.
thanks for this very engaging. Uh, okay, so yeah, so I showed how you can just now how you can reference an output of connector into a tabular control. And also, I'll show more here. So this is the same thing that I did earlier. So as I said, content generation for each to extract of this, and then create lead to create the leads. And then I also have some other controls here in this container to get the separate information for the lead name, lead title, and company, right? And how I populate this is within the same rule. So once the content generation is completed, I just set value of that control. Salesforce, that name, that value. I reference that the sales that lead name right here. This is the control, that lead name. And the value will be, as I said, referencing the connector and then the text, right? So that's and then let me just run this right now. So I will show you this in a bit after running this, but so this is what we have created similarly on the other project, right? So I have an input text. Let's say, let me just get the input text. Take this one, and then just clicking this button. So to help me extract the lead name, title, or company, and then fill up the table with this the leads in Salesforce, current leads plus the leads that I've created. And so this is the Salesforce uh, leads. So 22 currently, and if I refresh, so now I have 23 leads. Sarah Thompson being the latest one that was extracted from here. Same thing, you have ServiceNow connectors I can use, and let's say onboarding the customers. So this is the ServiceNow, creating a ticket to onboard the customers. So let me just refresh real quick. Don't have any ticket. And then going to the app, ServiceNow. So as you can see, it takes a couple of seconds because of the integrations. And then refresh. So it creates this incident ticket, and then you could be able, as you can see, there's a summary. So this was auto-generated as well. So this is generated from the content generation. This is the summary text, summarized text, and some other fields right here. And then I want to send this to Teams, right? It routes back the incident number, and I want to send it to Teams. Click Send Teams. So it is also the similar way we've used the other connectors. There's a team connector that you can just use to send individual chat or send group chat message. So the output will be similar to this. So this one. Onboarding for customer has started. Reference number, this one, which is the ticket that was generated from ServiceNow, like so, right? So this ticket number. So now we only have a couple of minutes, but I'll just show the other ones, the other activities that are available. So same input, and I want to do summarization, translation, PII filtering, rewriting the output, all in one by just clicking a button. And I'll show you how this looks in the in the controls. But let me just run this first.
By the way, while we're waiting for that to spin through, there was one question about is there an extra license required for integration service in terms of its relationship to Studio and Studio Web? And the answer is no. If you are an Automation Cloud user, you can access all those products.
Good, thanks, Charlie. So this is the output of summarization. This is the input. This is output. Translation. I translated to Japanese. PII filtering. So as you can see here, this is the mask text. It is masking personally identifiable information, like so. Even company. And so that's how PII filtering works. And rewriting the output, you also have these activities. So how does this looks like? If you can see here, same thing as I said. These are all available as or rules that you can access from GenAI activities or Salesforce or ServiceNow or whatever. So in Teams, you have these activities. In GenAI, you have this generate, PI filtering, rewrite, summarize, translate. and then you just need to wire up the parameters, right? So now we only have a few minutes, but you also see this different like you can ingest directly from email. Like I wanna say email filter opportunity or leads, for example. I can fetch from inbox, and then it will fetch. It will use the Outlook connector to look for emails in my inbox that is a new opportunity or new prospect or new partnership, right? I can do that, and then it will use it as an input in here in this, right? So yeah, like so. Or I can upload a file, like for example, this one earnings call, and then I can read from file. So this uses um, the PDF connectors that I created a workflow for. And then it will upload, and then storage bucket, and then be able to read and put it in the input text box that is available. So this may not be a straightforward just like the other connectors in the rules that I share with you. So it may require you to create workflows or automations. So how it was before is you have to go separately and create the Studio Web workflow. But this experience will be much better as part of what um, the team has been working on, the product team has been working on the roadmap they call Unified Project. As you can see here in this project, I have not only the controls, but also the workflows that I can directly attach on the controls. Not just adding individual rules, but I can add a full-fledged automation directly from here, right? Let's say I want to fetch from inbox, so the automation is directly available here that I can write like um, a more complex workflow that may require some data manipulation first or post-processing before I show in my apps. Right. So this is I can use within the what they call unified project, right? And again, the main benefit is you don't have to go into Studio Web and create and publish a workflow separately. You can use it directly from here and then wire up your automations, wire up your controls, and at the same time, other benefit is it's much faster. In the previous one that I showed, where you have the spinner or loading bar, it uses like a unattended robot to execute, while this one directly uses serverless robots, and then uh, you don't have to set up a separate robot to use this. It uses serverless robots in the background, and as you can see, it's much faster in fetching or executing the workflow, even if it's much more complex. So this is what is called unified, and this is the I think first time that it's shown in the community. So this is not part of the even a private preview yet. So and there definitely will be changes to come, but this also uses the connectors that we have shown in the previous demo. But the approach is through a workflow or a unified workflow. So that since we only have a few minutes left, I think we should we should now start with the Menti quiz. If anyone who would like to join, just scan this and then we'll start the Menti quiz. That's
You just
yeah.
need to share your screen. Yeah.
Oh, am I not sharing?
No.
I think I'm still
No,
sharing though.
yeah, you're still sharing your screen. I can see the barcode.
Yeah, if you can, thanks. I'll just
Russell,
start
can you
the.
grab the Mente URL and the number and just
Oh,
put
sure,
it
sure.
in
I
the
will.
chat? I'm not able
Uh,
to see your screen. Yeah.
Sure, sure. I will present. Hold on. Right click to copy. Yep, I copied the link. Uh,
And maybe if you can stop sharing and try sharing again.
sure,
I'm just not seeing it. Maybe somebody else can't see it either.
absolutely. I'll just stop sharing. How do I do it? Stop share. And then I'll reshare. And hope you can see my screen.
Yes.
So
now
I
can see it.
pasted the link. Thank you. I pasted the link in the chat. Or you can use your mobile to scan the QR code. Either way works. And yeah, let's let me know when we can start then, or shall I start?
I think you can start.
Okay. Let's see who's done. Nice. Yep, yep. We're filling in. 18 players ready.
There's prize after this.
Oh wow. Wow. So from the honor south, we have a prize. Whoever gets to answer the right question the fastest will have more points. Answer fast to get more points. In order to leverage native API connectors and apps, I need to build into a workflow. Time's up. Nope. Just select and go. So the only time that you want to use a workflow is you want to do some data manipulation and those other stuff that may not be available to add as a rule. So you want to build a Studio Web workflow, or in the future, you will be able to access that unified project, web app project, where you have both workflow and apps in the web app project. But for simple, the one that I've shown you before, just you want just to send a message, you want just to create a lead, you just select the connector in the rules and then provide the parameters, and then you're good to go. Ooh. Wow, it's nice. Okay, next question. Anyone else wants to join? Next. What are the available GenAI connectors in integration service that you can readily use in apps? PI filtering, right summarization, content generation, object detection, image generation, email generation, language detection. You can have two answers, I think. Yep. So you have this PI filtering, right summarization, content generation, and this.
Everybody got it right.
Right? Yep. And next question. What type of APIs will be shown in the query builder? I think I mentioned that Is it only APIs that return a single object, only APIs that return a list, all APIs in the connector, only post-patch APIs? So what APIs will be shown in the query builder? Those that are
Oh,
tables,
that's a hard one.
tabular. Oh yeah. So I shown earlier, when I added a table control, and in the query builder, the only ones that are available will be those that returns a list. The GenAI doesn't have any activities that returns a list. Salesforce, ServiceNow returns a list, are the ones that returns a list, right? So in order for it to show in the query builder, which is in one example is a table control, it should return a list. Let's see who's nice. Then the last question. Okay. How can you use the output from an API rule in an app? Is it by writing a new API, by using expression editor to fetch rules response, by emailing the support team, by downloading the output file? Great. Everybody has got it, but who's the fastest? Ooh, nice.
Gosh.
Tough competition.
Yeah, it is. Congratulations, Roro and Janet. Would like to
Yeah, Aurora, if you can put your email address in the chat, I'll send you a prize.
right? And I know we're a bit over time, slightly over time as
Yeah,
scheduled.
if you
1
just
minute.
have
So,
one more minute, there was just, I think, a couple of other things.
sure. Yep.
Is this LLM module use open AI chat GPT? How about data security when we are using it with organizational confidential data?
Absolutely. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with UiPath Trust Layer that UiPath is building in the midst of all this data security and governance questions. So that makes sure that whatever your data that you feed into these large language models or LLM gateway, which is not limited to OpenAI or whatever other best of breed models out there. So this is not being used for retraining or fine-tuning the models. So it's a whole broader topic, but what I can say is based on the governance structure of how this was built. So you are assured that with UiPath Trust Layer in the middle, from the input into the output that you will get from this gateway, is your data is secured and governed properly with the guidelines that was set by UiPath. So
and then is the autopilot feature GA?
autopilot feature GA, I think so, yes. So because autopilot, as I said, exists in many ways. So one is in Studio, one Studio Web for autopilot and testing, and probably the ones that are not still in GA is autopilot for assistant, which is like a chat GPT for your automations. But some of these autopilot features that exist in Studio Web and Studio that you have seen earlier in the expression editor, so that you should be able to use it.
Great. I think that was the end of the questions.
Excellent. So, I guess we should thank everybody for participating. Congrats, Roro. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks very much, Russell. And thanks, of course, to Diana. Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone.